Welcome back, family.
Welcome back, family, friends, and fans. It is Karma Lately. I am so excited today because I'm going to do something on the channel that I haven't done before, although I have personally done this. I used to do this so much, especially in my 20s, and I haven't done one recently, and so I wanted to do it on the channel. We are going to make books for Barbie and Disney dolls and live action dolls in the play scale. And to do so, I have selected these two models for our books. Super important that you have a model, or at least a size, something that is the size of the model when you're creating something, if you don't know how to calculate scale. This, let's say this here is, this is too big. Let's see this. So this is perfect. This is the average size, the average height of a male in the 1 inch equals a foot scale. So not the Barbie and Disney scale, because this is too big for that. But Barbie, this doll alone is she's 11 inches high. So this doll alone would be out of this scale. This is the height of a male in the 1 inch equals a foot scale. So you want to grab something that's like 6 inches, or if you're doing a female, something for a female, and then you grab something that's like 5.5 inches, and you're going, this is if you don't have a doll, and what you want to do is see how objects look in that doll's hand. All right, I'm going to cut different sizes here. Okay, so if I gave this now, if I gave this to her, it kind of looks like I'm giving her, it could be a very small book or a small little notebook or notebook journal, but it doesn't look like, let's say, a 6x9 book that an adult would hold, or 7 by, I don't know, 7x10 book. So this would be too small. If I give it to this person, it looks a lot better, a lot bigger. Still a little small for them too, to be a 6x9 book. This looks just right. This looks like a book in her hand. And so the way that you, this is just a little quick example of like little tricks that you can do to get things in the right scale. Recently I did a challenge and I created these pieces, and no one was able to figure out what they were for, what they were, and what scale they were for. And so when you can identify, when you can calculate scale, it'll become so helpful to see things in a different way. So for the Barbie and Disney play scale, it is 1 inch equals 6 inches. It's the 1/6 scale. The way to calculate that is to take an object in real life. Let's say, for example, a book, in our case. In real life, a book, let's say we're doing a 6x9 book. You'll take the dimension of the human size. So for the books, let's just say 6x9. So we're gonna divide these separately. So it's a 6x9 inch book. in real life. So now we're going to take the 6 and divide it by 6. And that's going to give us 1. Then we're going to take the 9 and divide it by 6. And that's going to give us 1.5. So 9 divided by 6 is 1.5. And so now you have the human size dimensions for a book is in our world is 6 by 9. And in order for it to look right for Barbie and for Disney, it has to be 1.5. So let's just really quickly draft out a 1.5, just so you can see what that looks like. A 1.5 by 1 inch book. And this is like not super even. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. This is what a 6 by 9 inch book would look like. And let's just compare it to the book that I said was good for Barbie. Wait, this is not it. Here is the book that I said was good. So this would be a 6 by 9, and this is so safe to say that this is an average sized book, probably in the 7 by 10 range, something around there.
So calculating this in the reverse, meaning that you're taking the size from the Barbie scale and trying to see what size it is in real life, you would take the 1.25 multiplied by 6. It ends up giving you 7.5. You take the 1.75 multiplied by 6 and it gives you the 10.5. So I was right when I said it's in the 7 by 10 range. And so that's how you would calculate it for the reverse.
Sometimes if you trust your eye, you can get a better result. That's why I took out the Barbies. But your eye has to train itself by actually doing the formula, calculating, seeing, putting it, and then also envision yourself as the doll. And like, how big would you want a book to be? Would you want to read a tiny book of this size? Would that make you happy? Because I don't think I want to read a book that's this size for me. I imagine the words would be really, really small, and that wouldn't be fun for me. So I did a whole bunch of calculations. I basically looked at the book for what it was on Google Books, and I made all the calculations on Canva. I also added a little spine for all the books, just added a little spine there. And now we're going to cut these out. And there's a whole bunch of different sizes, but this is the accurate size of the books based off of the original size of the book. And I'm sorry that I did not get these calculations, but I'm going to give you the names of the books so that you can find them on Google. And I'm not going to give you specific. I'm just going to show you. So it is a little less than 1 inches by about 1.25 inch. And this is the book called Studs Terkel Race, How Blacks and Whites Think and Feel About the American Obsession. And that's this book. Then we have, I'm only going to do it for a few of them. I could tell you the names of the books though. There's Flowers for Algernon, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Jane Eyre, The Velveteen Rabbit, Magic Eye, A New Way of Looking at the World, Women Who Run with the Wolves, and The Little Engine That Could. Now there's a couple of different techniques that you can do. You can do the super easiest way possible, but it's not very interactive. But it will fill up a nice dollhouse bookshelf very quickly and easily. If you wanted to have like some books that work, some books that don't work, the books that don't work are obviously the easiest ones to pull off. The reason why certain dollhouses look better than others is because of scale. It's because the person who took the time to do the dollhouse also took the time to measure everything and make sure that it was accurate. And that makes a world of difference. Flowers for Algernon, I actually read when I was younger because my older sister had the book. And I remember this book to be a smaller book. So it makes perfect sense that it's this small. And then you have books that are like really big. This Magic Eye one is probably has a lot of pictures. When you can notice, like, picture books tend to be a lot bigger. Books that have like imagery and photos and all of that, they tend to be bigger size.
So while I was on Canva, I made a mistake and I joined these two books, Chicken Soup for the Soul and I'll Be There For You, the one about friends. So these two books do not belong together, but we'll just keep it in here for practice.
You can also cut this with an X-Acto or a blade. You just put the ruler. It should be a metal ruler so you don't damage the ruler itself. You can get nice clean lines this way as well. Ooh, I do not know where the edge of this book is. Ugh, I'm gonna eyeball it, but I really don't know if this is the edge. I used to do a lot of doll houses when I was younger, and also I did when my daughters were growing up. I made Barbie houses and tree houses, miniature, of course. I did whole neighborhoods. This one looks like it has a little excess here. I do not want that. So I'm just gonna do a few. If you have a bone folder, this is a good time to pull it out. And we're gonna score with our bone folder. If you have a scoring board, that's even better. We're gonna score the spine. So both edges of the spine, we'll just put the ruler right here. And because this is photo paper, it's gonna have a squeak with the bone folder. And now you can just fold it gently. now I can see the excess of this book. Remember, I couldn't tell where it began and where it ended, and here it is, right there. So there's one. Jane Eyre. I read Jane Eyre when I was younger. I actually have not read it. It's been years since I read Jane Eyre. I would love to read it now as an adult. See what my perspective is. In my house, we are obsessed with period pieces, and so I think I scored that other one wrong, but I can always fix it. And it's okay if there's some like white stuff here. You kind of want the book to have a little wear and tear. Books don't preserve perfectly for the most part, unless you're like really anal about book preservation. But these are things that you want to take your time. You don't want to rush this process. Like if you want to do something on the weekend, you don't know, I mean, just go on Canva, print out a couple of book covers. A little engine that could. Next time when I do this, I'm gonna really outline the spine much better so that I'm not confused about where the spine ends and where it begins. That can be a little confusing. This one is not perfect, but it'll do. And the last one. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this is a big book after all. The spine really tells you how thick the book is. So I guess it's this thick. Fine, I'll do this last one. It's nice to have a scoring board because it's just like helpful. I need to totally invest in a scoring board. Okay. All right, so already we have these. Now what you printed on, I printed all of the paper was, I printed it all on one page, and it was photo paper, which is kind of like shiny, like glossy. But you can do matte to give it a different finish. You can also put different textures on the cover if you wanted to make it a little more distressed and older looking. You can wrinkle it, you know, really play around with these. So one of the first methods that we're going to do is the easy way. And for the easy way, I'm going to take this piece of very cheap foam board, and I am just going to cut it to size. I'm going to cut it a little smaller than I outlined. It would help to have white foam board and not black. I'm just gonna cut this edge a little bit there. And I'm literally going to just put a little hot glue, kind of put a little bit in the middle too. And it's very cheap foam board, so it's like a little beat up and but anyway, if you had white foam board, this would be perfect. And there you go. There's one book done. That was the easiest way to do it. Another way to do it that's kind of easy, you take a notebook. I'm gonna and this is just like super fast and dirty. Like, it's not, you can take way more time with this. And there are also so many tools that you can use that can make this a lot easier. Make sure all the pages are level for the most part. And then I kind of stay right here because I want to make sure all the edges are super crisp. That's why you really don't want to use, why am I not able to get these? You really, really don't want to use a plastic. I don't know why these edges didn't get gotten. So you can use PVA glue. You can also use like tacky glue, like Aleene's glue. Today I have this here. I think some of that got inside, Squeeze it out. Today I have hot glue, and I'm just gonna wait for the glue to bind all the pages. I'll wait for the glue to dry for the most part, and then once I can touch it, I'll start making sure that it's taken on all. This is cute because you can either write in it or just leave it blank. Wouldn't be wise to have it blank here as you know, this is an actual book, but the pages here for this one I did too small, but you get the point. It's almost there, but it wasn't good enough, so I'm just gonna leave that one to the side. Another technique, if you don't want to write and you don't care about the scale of the words, you can always take a book that has words in it and find a random spot. Literally, I'm just going to, the outline is just super important, and this pencil is really not sharp. So I gotta say that I move it up just a little bit because you do want it to be a little smaller. You don't necessarily want it to be the exact same size of the thing, but let's see if this blade works better. 5 minutes in and I already have so much of this. You want to go over it, keep your hand steady, and until you feel the bottom of the until you feel your cutting mat, don't stop. And even though the words are not in scale for, they're probably just way too big, I think that's what makes it funny. Now you have some words in there. Only use books that you don't want. Don't go around stealing people's books. Not bad at all. I'm just going to take a little bit. Okay. Ooh, this one came out good. I'm happy with this. Yay, this one came out great. Wait, the words are upside down. And it is in Spanish, but I like it. See over there? Yeah. So now you can do like what I said before. You can take glue. In my case, I'm just going to use hot glue. Just really make sure that I'm coating the entire width of it. And just kind of wait for it to squeeze it. And then just kind of press down to ensure that everybody's got some juice. Oh no, did I take it off? I think I touched it prematurely and took it off. Let's see. Oh, it worked. Okay, great. And then we just make sure the words are correct. And oh hell no, please no, I do not want that. Ugh. Almost perfect. I'm just gonna cut it instead of doing it over. But here's another one. And you can also do it in a different kind of way where you get the width of the book. So let's see, for the little engine that could, we're gonna get the width of the book. We're gonna do this. Okay, I'm actually gonna take off a little. Okay. And then, just to keep things fast here, I'm going to cut this. Just when you're working with scissors, you have to be careful. You have to use your hand as a clamp and hold really tightly, because the pages start to move with the scissors a lot more so than they would with your ruler and X-Acto knife. Once the pages move, it just ruins the integrity of the book. Okay, now we're gonna measure. I can already see it's a little too high and it's gonna be a little too long. Let's see how long. So I'm just gonna mark it here, and I'm gonna mark it here. Okay. And now perfect. So the first thing you would want to do, well, the next thing you would want to do is get a needle and thread. I'll get that right now. I couldn't find a small needle, but this one will do perfectly. And there's different techniques for sewing books. You want to get an awl and just kind of poke holes first. Typically 3 holes. I have an awl, but I don't feel like going to get it since I have this big fat needle that can serve as my awl just fine. And typically you can do 3 for like the simplest. Some people have even done 2. I'm sorry, yeah, 2. But in my opinion, when you do more, and this is especially for real books, when you do more, it preserves the integrity of the book better. There's less stress on those few holes if there are more holes. And I'm right now not doing any rhyme or reason. I'm just securing the book. There are so many different stitching methods out there. Now I'm just going to tie this here in the middle. So like I said, you can do this the easy way. And even now I've just been doing it really quickly. You should always have your thread doubled, no matter how small the project is. And this knot didn't come out that great, but came out a little loose. Now you can write in here, type some things out. I'm gonna level this playing field a little bit here. Some things look a little off. Happy with that. Now the pages are never gonna go away, and you can just, and for this one, I'm only going to sew the spine, glue the spine. And now they have their books. Hope that this was fun and messy for you guys and helpful. It's helpful to have the models so that you can see the size. I hope that you took tips for the ratios. This one didn't come out so good, but I hope that you guys try it. I'm gonna do a tutorial one of these days so that you can see how I put this together on Canva. And if you're gonna do the foam core one, technically any color but the black foam core would work. And yeah, so please guys, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to like and comment as well, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video. Peace.